Welcome back to This is Van Color. For many of us, the big Christmas get-togethers with family can be quite a daunting task. Even more daunting if you're in charge of hosting. Well, a super mom and social media superstar will share her strategy on how to thrive, if not just survive, your Christmas hosting duties. Mother of 5, good Lord, and Vancouver-based content creator with 10 million followers on TikTok and 5 million subscribers on YouTube. Find her at Ong Squad. She is Ssonia Ong. And this conversation is supported by Shelter Point Single Malt Whiskey, distinctly Vancouver Island, uniquely Shelter Point. So Ssonia with 2 S's.
That's right.
You obviously have a big family. You have 5 kids. Mm-hmm. How big is your family Christmas dinner this year?
So, funny story about that. We have been hosting family Christmas for 17 years, my husband and I. That's how long we've been married, so that's how I keep track of it.
You're the default host. No one even asks.
We are. I think it's because we have the most kids, and it just makes it easier for us to have it at our house. This year, I decided I want a break.
Oh.
And so I booked a cruise for my family, just my immediate family, from the 20th to the 27th. And I thought, okay, you know what? This year, someone else is going to have to host. I got a call from my mom last week. Hey, so everyone's going to be in town. Can we do it on the 28th? So I mean,
you're the default host.
I am. So yeah. I thought I was planning a break for myself this year, but instead it's just being pushed to the 28th.
Wow. So how many people in total?
Usually between 25 and 30.
What? What do you have, a party hall? I don't understand.
Yeah, we it's amazing how many people you can fit in a small space when there's food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This year though,
yeah,
just 20.
Just 20. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whether it's 20 or 30, even if it's just a larger family, let's say it's 10 or 12, sure. What are your strategies? What are your tips to hosting the big Christmas dinner?
Okay, I can think of 2 good ones.
Okay.
One is to plan early. So for a large group, I need a certain size turkey, and those are hard to find. So I'll call the stores the week before to ask who's got one that is big enough to feed our whole family. How
big of a turkey do you need for 30 people?
Okay, so that's a great question. One turkey is just not going to do it.
No.
So this goes to my second strategy, which is you need to have options. We'll do the turkey, we'll do all the fixins, the works, and then I'll also do a roast.
Okay.
Yeah, and then maybe a fish, just so
and people, a fish. Okay.
Yeah, and to give people options, but also so that there is enough food for everybody.
Now, is this how you overcome perhaps dietary restrictions or preferences among 20 to 30 family members?
You know what? I have just thrown preferences out the window. I mean, my dad doesn't like salmon. I don't care. You can eat whatever. You can eat the other stuff. It's just too hard to try to accommodate everybody. I do have kids who have nut allergies.
Okay.
But that's another thing is the philosophy we have taken, my husband and I, who is a physician, is that we still have nuts in our home. And what that's done is it's taught our kids how to look for them, how to read labels, how to ask the adults in the room what's safe to eat and what's not safe, and how to recognize them in their food.
How many times have there been medical emergencies because of this philosophy?
Twice.
And the kids are fine?
They are. They're still alive. Once somebody gave us cookies.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know what was in them. And my son, who was quite young at the time, ate one. And then he had a reaction. The second time, my fault completely. I ate a Snickers bar and I kissed my 2-year-old on the cheek.
Oh, no.
Yes. And so I think, and we're not even sure that, but I mean, it sounds reasonable. I think that was the result. He had the reaction because of me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is incredible because if I had to host that many people, I would just order pizza and say, this is what you get.
Yeah.
When you talk about the planning, I mean, you're clearly thinking about the volume of food as well, right?
Yes.
So do you have like a whole list? Are you the one going out shopping? How does this all work?
I do it all.
Really?
I do it all.
Wow.
Well, I do all the planning. And then I think over time I've learned, you know what? It's a good idea to just accept help from people.
Okay.
We'll consider that another strategy is if my mom wants to say, I'll bring dessert. Yes. Please bring dessert. Or if my mother-in-law says, I will prepare the mashed potatoes. Yes, please, you do the mashed potatoes. And it just, to delegate like that it makes it a lot easier for me.
Do you still micromanage your in-laws or your parents, though, if they're going to help?
No, because I let them do their own thing.
Okay.
And then they'll show up with whatever, and I'm fine with that.
So if it's a disaster, it's their problem.
Kind of. And I know that, there's only so much I can control. And if I can focus on what I'm making, it's better for everybody.
Yeah. Now, you've built an incredible social media profile, literally like millions of followers and viewers. Do you get judgment from your family when perhaps they see a dish that you've made and they go, I saw you make that better on TikTok?
The beauty of my content is I'm not the typical Instagrammer where things look perfect. In fact, I think
they look pretty good.
I think part of our appeal is that we are imperfect. And, my kid is, when she cracks an egg, half of it's on the table or right. Or there's food that has fallen on the floor. So there is no expectation or pressure for me to be perfect. And so when I'm doing my family dinner, the pressure is not because of social media. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
I do want to, put on a good meal for my parents and for my family.
Yeah.
But that's pressure that I put on myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Where does the pressure come from then? Just from yourself, or does it come from family at all? Because sometimes family, especially around the holidays, they can be a little judgmental, especially if there's a few drinks.
Yes. And also, my parents especially are a little bit picky when it comes to their food.
Yeah.
But at this point, I know them so well that I know what I can do and make for them that will make them happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, really quickly, will you be on social media for this big extravaganza?
No.
No.
Do you mean my dinner?
Yeah, like, are you going to be showing how you're making things like you normally do?
Usually during the holidays, especially the week of Christmas, I will take a step back from social media.
Okay,
so
that's
maybe
a good idea.
And so I'll prepare my content beforehand. We took Christmas photos this year, family photos last week, and so I'll probably do kind of like a family post and talk about what Christmas means to me, and just have that in reserve so that on Christmas and that whole week, I don't have to be I don't have to be online.
Because that's a full-time job on top of hosting. So it's nice that you get that break.
It is. And I think it's typical of a lot of content creators to step back. So I'm glad that that's been normalized.
Yeah, cool. Mm-hmm. Ssonia, what a pleasure. Thanks for all the tips. I'm probably not going to put them to good use, but hopefully someone who is watching will.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Mo.
Absolutely. Folks, find her and her family lighting up your social media feed with the best vibes on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. They're the Ong Squad, and she is Ssonia Ong, Ssonia with 2 S's. Big thank you to Shelter Point Single Malt Whiskey for supporting local conversations and helping many of us survive our big families this Christmas. Now, after some business, we're days away from Christmas, and Kyla Lee has some legal advice to keep you off Santa's naughty list. Up next.